Hi everyone, this is Dr. Tammy Mosier. Welcome back to The Journey Coach. I'm so glad you could join me. This is the promised video covering how we actually build out a weekly agenda. So you're going to build with me. I'm going to start by showing you just a few changes I made from the last week's update to my weekly agenda. And this just is an ever developing system, which is the joy of it, I think. I added a monthly reflection. I now have that completely built out and decided how I wanted to do that. And I've tied my weeklies to a quarter. So in quarterly review, I have that information rolling up as well. I've created my fitness and wellness tracker. It took me a while to decide what I really wanted to do. And what you see here is a grouping of roll-ups that come from that fitness tracker. That I'll cover in another video, so I'm not going to get into it here, but that's the addition there. So you'll see the fitness tracker now is connected here, and I added the quick access to these daily fitness trackers. So I can open it on my phone when I'm in my gym and just put things in. Wherever I'm at, I can just answer quickly what I need to associated with that. So that's been added. I also added a red tab here. This comes from August Bradley. I really like the idea of the not to do list. And so this is just a drop down. You can add information there. Now, the one other thing I did, some slight changes, is I added a few other views to my action items. So this is the calendar view, and it's a not done calendar. So in this view, as I check something off, it disappears. And that way I can see I've cleared everything. This calendar is sorted by my due date, DO date, and not by deadline. The deadline shows up on the card. So you'll see that this quickly allows me to look at it and go, oh, the deadline's actually tomorrow. So I can't juggle this any more than I may have already done. There's a few other views I added. I added a board by priority. So must do, second string if I can someday. I added one by time drain. And so this is where I've got it sorted in what I showed you in the last calendar about how to actually go through and do it by time, so I can see what kind of time I'd have to invest and make decisions based on that. And then I did quick boards that these are just the must do items. So it's only showing me the things that are listed as must do for this week. And then I also added the second string. So I could look real quick and go, oh, that's the only second string item I have not done yet. So these different views just allow me kind of a way to quickly look at my data and parse it in different ways in terms of what I need to get done. The grading calendar I set up, I did something very similar. I gave it a calendar view, or I can go back to the university view. I am liking the calendar view quite a bit because it really lets me see what kind of grading I have coming up. And so this is the other calendar I added. I always had grading here, but I had it sorted on a Kanban board. Now, one of the other things that can be really useful about this is that this can be another way of looking at any of your data, right? This could be my action table and database again, set up and then view it just by a certain category. So that's what I've done and kind of the updates I've had set up with my system. So let's get into actually building one. So I'm going to flip out of this board and go over to my Journey Coach board. And I'm going to go up here and I am just going to create something new. Now, one of the things I'm going to do, and here are some suggestions or guidelines as we move forward with this. What I want you to do is know that the pause key is there for you, and you can hit pause at any time, pause this whole system, step away, build, think, whatever you need to do, and then come back and build out the next set. I will make this larger template available, but I'll do it through Gumroad. So you'll go through there to pick it up because this is a little bit more robust, and I am going to design this to where you could actually just go get it and it's already got all the embedded databases in it that then you could connect new ones or use what's already here. But as always, I would recommend build it with me, then you can build it to what you actually need. So I'm going to start by calling it the weekly planner. Okay. And as I start building the weekly planner, I've got some decisions I need to make about it. So I'm going to start by just setting this up. as a empty grouping. Okay, so I have a weekly planner here, and what I want to do is I'm putting this together as an actual database. So I'm going to create an inline database, and it's going to be an inline gallery. So this is going to be my gallery, and this is what I start with, and then I build out the pages. So what I'm going to do here is I actually want to create a new template, because this way all I have to do is edit this template, and anytime I start a new week, then I use this template. It'll populate all of this information, and it makes it very easy for me to then just go, oh, I need a new week. Then I'm going to open this page. Now, a few things that I like, you don't have to do this. I prefer the serif type right now. That may change. And I also like a smaller text, and I like a full width page. So I like to be able to start on the far left and then use as much real estate as I want to versus having it set into the middle centered of the page. That is totally a preference. Now I'm going to name this template. So this is my weekly planner. Okay. I don't need the created date. So I'm going to delete that property. So that's what you do if you have properties you don't like. And then I can also just change what that property is. So this is going to be my date. And I'm going to go in here, and it's going to be a date. And the range of this, I'm always going to put an end date on it. So it'll sit like this. I'm going to put end date, and then I go in and put in my week range. So let's say it is the end of the week's the 12th, the beginning of the week's the 6th. So if we were putting something together. Now I can go in and add other properties here, and you will do that as you start to build this out, right? But we're going to go ahead and just start setting up the actual design of the page, and we can come back to properties later. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the dash key 3 times, and that gives me a line. And then I'm going to hit enter because I want a space in between, and then I'm going to do it 3 more times. What this gives me is that header space where I can hit those, put my links that link me to different places in my page. And so that is really useful because it starts to give you that maneuverability. So I'm going to go back to my weekly planner again and just show you what that looks like. If I come down here, this is what I just gave us room for, right? So if I hit grading, it takes me down here to my bottom of my page so I can see it. I've got a top of the page link I can hit. It brings me back up to here. If I want to see weekly fitness, I hit that. It takes me there. So this is how you can set this up. And just from a design standpoint, I like having that division, right? And we can do different ways, different types of divisions, but I like to start there. Now, what you may have noticed in this, and I'm going to edit. That's how you edit a template, by the way. I go in, bring that down. Here's the template. I go to my 3 dots and I hit edit because I want to edit the template, not a page within the database. And that's something to remember. So the other way I can hit a division here is I want to color this block, right? It's highlighted a block. And I want to fill it with a color. So I'm going to go down here, and let's say I want orange. And I'm not going to type anything in that. I don't want anything in there necessarily, right? And so I go ahead and just give myself some room there. Go back, color, orange. Again, all preference, your type of preference. Now, one of the things I do here is I have that quote, right? And so I need some different areas here. So I'm going to go over here now. I just picked up an empty block, right? This is an empty block, and I have a block right here. This is where I'm going to start to set up my across the page area. So see how that line turns from blue horizontal to blue vertical. I'm going to release that block of text. Now, when I move here with my mouse, I get that gray. And so I'm going to move that over. Now I want another one. So I'm going to grab another one, go up here until I get that, pull it over. So I want to go ahead and start to create some division here so I can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to change this into that first one into a quote. So there's the empty quote sitting there. I also have my quote a color, but I make it a text color. So I'm going to go up here and make that blue. So we'll come back to that in a minute, but that's the empty quote space, and I can always move this around as I see fit. Now in this area here, you'll notice on mine, I had a hub, a link out to a hub. But let's say your hub is going to be your degree, certification, learning hub, whatever you want to call it. It's something that you want separated out from the overall weekly planner, but you know you're going to work in every week. So for me, that's the Journey Coach. The Journey Coach has its own hub because there's so many different components to it. And then I just have some check boxes. So let's say this is my learning hub. And that would have a link because I would actually have that connected to something. I'm going to go ahead and just bold this just to give it a little something. And then right underneath it, I'm going to turn this into my checklist, my to-do list. So here I'm going to put in, I'm going to do an assignment, work on X, create Y. You get the idea. Now, for me, this particular block is connected to something I work on every week. And I work on it throughout the week. And these check boxes for me, as I described in that very first update on my weekly planner, I use to just keep a quick look when I get into my weekly planner because that's what I work out of constantly all day long. I can look at it and go, oh, I've done that and that already. It's Wednesday of the week. Those are completed in that hub. I still have something I have to do. It's the check I need here that's not tied into a database, but allows me that. Okay. So here's your next one. I'm going to make some more space here. And in this one, I am going to do a quick to-dos. So these are the items that I need to do, but they don't require an actual action item in a database that I track. And I am going to turn this into, let's say, purple text. Well, I didn't get that changed. I can do that here too. So you can highlight it. I want that to be purple text and it's bolded. And then I'm going to create another to-do list. And with that, if I fill in laundry, which some of us that may be quick, some of us not so much, and hit enter, I get another to-do. So that's where I just throw those items that I want to know that I'm getting done. So this might be update a subscription, right? Okay, I want another block of text over here. So I'm going to pull that over, pull that. And you need to play with the spacing as you go, but it's easy to do as you can see. And then my next one is going to be household tasks. Now these could be for you, they could be recurring. In other words, these household tasks exist every week. And so you could go in and just fill them in quickly, fill them in on the template. And so if I go every week, we've got to take out trash, do the laundry, scrub the toilet. Because I have filled this in on the weekly planner template, when I start every new week using the template, those three things will always be there. So if you've got quick to-dos that are recurring and you've got household tasks that are recurring, go ahead and get them typed in here. And then you don't have to worry about retyping them all the time. But then if I go, oh, something new came up as a household task, I need to change the light bulbs. Now, I don't need to say where, I know where the light bulbs are out, but that gives me the ability to quickly go, I need to change the light bulbs, reminder. I need another block of text. Now, I could stop there. I could give all of them more room and quit. This is where you just need to decide. And if you looked at my original weekly planner and then what my second weekly planner looked like, which is what we're building out here, you'll notice that those things changed. I changed what I called them and I moved that around a little bit because I just needed to have kind of a different set at the top. But it took me a little while to realize what I needed it to be. And if you're like me and you've used paper planners, or you have a particular planner you really like the Focus Planner, something of that nature, don't be afraid to go and look at how that's laid out. And if you really like the layout, build the layout here, so it's easy for you. Okay, so now I've got this one right here. This I set up in a couple of different ways. So on my new one, I'm going to make a toggle list, and I'm going to actually color that list, and I'm going to fill it in, and I'm going to title it. And what this actually is for me are links. So I would actually take a link out to another page, my next weekly agenda. So once I get this template built out and I'm setting up weekly agendas, what I generally do is set up a quarter's weekly agendas at one time, because it's one quick spend of time. It's quick to do once you're in the groove of it. And so I've got to go in, roll up, or, scroll up a template, fill in the date, I add a cover, and that's all I really do. I make sure it's got the basic template, and now I'm ready to go. So I'll show you what that looks like real quick so you'll see what I'm talking about. So if I go back over here to this weekly, I want to actually go to my gallery of weekly agenda. This is what we're building out right now for a template. And as you can see, I actually created this new weekly agenda planner for myself starting this week. Actually, it went into effect. And so I only scrolled up, or created, if you will, 2 weeks to get started, because I just wanted to play with it a little, see what I liked, what I didn't like. So when I'm ready to create a new one, and this is exactly what you'll do once you get the weekly agenda built for yourself, I would put that together. I would go, okay, the next one is July 13th through, put the date. I'd fill in this date, so I'm going to start there. It'll have an end date of here, right? And then I'm going to go down here and go, I want the version 2 week agenda, which is the template. There it is. So, and see, it's already got, because the template has that and that. I can open that page, and July 19, I'll change this because I don't want it to match all the others, and I'll add a cover. And I'll want to change the cover, so I'll go to Unsplash and go hot summer and see what pictures come up. That looks good. And now I do that, and when I go back here, there it is. And I'll give it its own unique icon in a little bit, since this is just a quick example. But I'll put a whole quarter's worth like that ready to go. And that just makes it easy on me. I do it once, I'm ready. So that's what you're aiming for in creating this system, is that it makes it really easy for you just to put things together really quickly. And you'll see here, I just did our weekly agenda, the planner we're building out. I clicked there, and we have that template available. And I want to edit the template. So I'm going to open the template back up. So here, what I would do is I would go up, when I've got the template made for the next 3 weeks, I'd copy the link for that, and then I would go right here and I would paste that link in, and it says, do I want to link to the page? Yes. Weekly planner. That's linking to this actual template. So I would do that and create myself a grouping of those. And I go ahead and just create some space in there, so it's easy for me to put that in. Now, the other item I do here is I give myself the space. I usually try to have 4 weeks ahead listed here. And what this does for me is when I'm in this week and I go, oh, 2 weeks from now, what do I have going on? Or I want to look at X, or I want to add this to the quick to-dos for 3 weeks from now. I've got 4 weeks worth here just to click and go. And then I can hit my back button and come right back to this planner. So I give myself enough room to put those 4 items. And then right here, I do my 3 lines again, And I put links out to other databases, like for instance in mine. And the reason I'm showing you what I have in mind as we go and build is because you need to think about these things. So here, planning links, so that's what it would look like. And because we just created a new planner, I'm going to go here, and here's the one we just created. I'm going to copy the link, then I'm going to go back into the one I'm working in right now and go down here, paste, link to page. Okay, so I do 4 of those and get them in place. I also put a link out to my business finance tracking. That way, if I'm in here and I'm like, I'm going to set up Gumroad, I'm going to buy Snagit, these quick to-dos, but those are business expenses. When I've done that, I just have to hit this. It takes me over. I enter that and it's ready to go. I can go quickly to my information hub, which isn't pretty, but it gets me where I need to go. I can go to my strategic planning and look at things there. So that's the planning links or what's happening next, that type of thing. The next one I have set up is a planning checklist. This is the checklist I go through at the first of every week on a Monday when I open up my new weekly planner. And this is really, it's what do you want to do every week? And as just you do it, it's recurring, it happens all the time. And you're going to go in and set that up and get it ready to go, but you don't want to miss something. This is it. So we're going to go back over and we're going to go back to our template that we're building. And so I've got that. So right underneath it, I'm just going to set up my next toggle and planning checklist. I'm going to color it in, and you can put in, if you want a rainbow of colors here, I could do a different color. And then inside here, I'm going to turn this into to-do list. Review last week's progress. Fill in meditation. Check for outstanding X. Check on Susie's lunches. So if you've got kids that you just need to do a quick check for them, you could put that there. So that's how easy it is to get that planning checklist. And I can expand it, but again, if you're working in the template, anything I put on this template, when I start a new week using the template, that is automatically there. Then I can add new things in this particular week if I go, oh, this week only I want to also do. Or if it's at the end of a quarter, I may put in there for that week, that's the end of the quarter, quarterly review, do. And I may actually highlight that. So let's just try that. That's not going to be on every list. Or it could be monthly review due. Right? So once a month at the very last week of the planner, I would actually put in here the monthly review. And for me, I would do that and I would take it to red, and let's even add, if I hit, now I'm on a Mac, if I hit my Control, Command, and Space key at the same time, I get that, and I could add those there. So I would just, when I was putting together the quarters, all quarter of weekly planners at one time, at the end of every month, I'd go in and add that monthly review just on that planner as part of my setup. And at the end of the quarter, I would just add that quarter review just as a reminder, something I have to check off and I know I've done. Now, the one other item I have added here just recently, and I think it's a good thing to have, you might choose something else to put here, and I actually made it on mine pink. So that was actually the color. I want to fill it in pink, right? I don't want my text as pink, so I'm going to change that. So default. One more time. Okay. So I'm actually going to label this. I'm going to bold it. Not to do list. And here I might actually do the, let's see if we can go down here and get a, I'm trying to see what would best represent that. I'm going to do that one. So my not to do list, right? And So I can just make this a bullet list because it's just a reminder list, right? So let's make it bullets. Don't eat sugar, right? Something we should all do. And so whatever you want on this list, again, if you put it in the template, it's going to follow you and you'll be able to use it then on every template. And you can add things, right? Quit watching TV. I just canceled my TV subscription because I felt like I was wasting too much time. Now I'm actually using the time to broadcast YouTube videos, tutorials, things like that I want to learn about on my TV. And while watching TV, one could say I'm actually learning things instead of just watching TV and being kind of mindless. So we're almost at the 30-minute mark for the start of our building out our planner. But as you can see, we've got the start going, right? I'm going to go ahead and add another divider line here so that I've clearly got another section to work with. When we set up the next video, I'll take you on the next stage of this, which will be building out the links to different databases that you want to be able to kind of scroll into or work with on a regular basis, and the views that you might need. I think we've got one more video to go, and then I'll build in some instructions and links and put the databases in here that you can use. And you can start to use that as we move forward. You can go to Gumroad if you want to, or just build along. I hope this has been useful, and even just getting some basic design. Now that you've got this under your belt and you can kind of see how to do some of these items, you may be ready now to just build out the rest on your own. But I am thrilled to be able to help you with it. And if you need more instruction, or you want me to kind of focus on some different things as I start to continue forward with this build out, please be sure to just make comments below. I get those immediately. I may not be able to read them immediately, but I get them, and I'm able to read those and see what you might want to look at next. If you want to just be alerted when the next video comes out, please be sure to hit subscribe. And you can read through my description down below. I've got some links out to some other material, other templates, and that may be of help to you as well. Journey on, have a safe holiday weekend, and I look forward to talking to you next time.